Okay, now we're looking at some word problems where we're going to use trig functions and inverse trig functions, but we do not have a diagram. Brian's kite is flying above a field at the end of 65 meters of string. So here's our kite. This can be our string, 65 meters. Let's go ahead and create a right triangle. If the angle of elevation, so the angle of elevation to the kite, so we're looking up to the kite, measures 70 degrees. Remember, angle of elevation is looking up, and it's also an angle measurement inside the triangle. We want to know how high the kite is. So our referenced angle is going to be 70 degrees, and we are giving opposite and hypotenuse. So that is sine. So we have the sine of 70 degrees is equal to x over 65. We're going to cross multiply, and x is already isolated, so simply put in 65 times the sine of 70, and we get about, we're going to round to the nearest whole number, so x is about 61 meters. From an airplane, an altitude of 1,200 meters, the angle of depression to a building on the ground measures 28 degrees. Okay, so we have an airplane is 1,200 meters. There's a building over here. And then we're going to have a right triangle here. And then here is, we're going to have an angle of depression. So you're looking out to the building and you're looking down. So a downward motion is the angle of depression, and that's 28 degrees. It's on the outside of our right triangle that we're considering here. So we also know that this angle is also 28 degrees because these are, if you extend these lines, these are parallel lines, and this hypotenuse is also the transversal. So we know this angle of depression and this angle inside are congruent because they're alternate interior angles. And now it says find the distance from the plane to the building. So that's going to be the hypotenuse. So if our reference angle is 28 and we know opposite and hypotenuse, we're going to use sine. So the sine of 28 degrees is equal to 1,200 over x. We're going to cross multiply. We're going to divide each side by sine of 28 to isolate x. X is going to be equal to 1,200 divided by sine of 28. So I'm going to use my n over d feature, 1,200 divided by sine of 28. And we get about 2,556. So x is about 2,556, and we're talking about meters. A foot ladder is used to scale a 13-foot wall. So we have a wall. It's 13 feet. We have a ladder that's 14 feet. So you can see the right triangle that's formed. At what angle of elevation, so that's inside, must the ladder be situated in order to reach the top of the wall? So we are looking for an angle measurement, so we're going to be using the inverse functions. So this is our reference angle. We have opposite and hypotenuse. So that's going to be sine. So the sine of some angle measurement is equal to 13 over 14. We're going to take the inverse of sine on both sides. And in my calculator, I'm going to do second sine, and then my n over d is 13 over 14. And we get about 68. So the angle measurement, the nearest degree, is 68 degrees. An airplane takes off 200 yards in front of a 60-foot building. And an airplane takes off. This is 200 yards. At what angle of elevation? So again, angle of elevation is going to be looking up and inside. At what angle of elevation must the plane take off in order to avoid crashing into the building? Now, here's the deal though. We have yards and we have feet. These need to be the same unit. So let's just convert 200 yards to feet. So we know 3 feet is 1 yard. So 200 times 3, of course, is 600. So that's 600 feet. So our reference angle, we have opposite and we have adjacent. So opposite over adjacent is tangent. So the tangent of some angle is 60 over 600. We're going to take the inverse of tangent on both sides. So we're going to do second tangent n over d. We have 60 over 600. And we get about 5.7. So it's 5.7 feet.